Chapter 11. Leah didn't sleep well that night. She tossed and turned, remembering the party and her Amish friend's reaction to it. Rebecca had been frightened of the man dressed as Santa Claus and had taken the gift he offered only after Leah had taken it first and pressed it into her hand. "May I have it, Rebecca?" asked Ethan, who had looked uncertain about the whole thing. "I'm not sure you should take something from a stranger," he said. "It's all right," Leah told them. "It won't be much. Probably a plastic toy or some candy." Ethan nodded, and Rebecca carefully pulled off the paper, her movement slow and deliberate, so different from the other kids who were ripping paper and ribbon to shreds to get into the gift. Inside hers was a plastic doll. "I like Rose better," Rebecca said silently, handing the doll to Leah. "You can keep it," Leah said. "It's a present." Rebecca shook her head. "No, thank you. She is not right for a plain person." Later, Leah had asked Charity what could be so awful about taking a plastic doll. "We do not believe in collecting material things. Rebecca has a doll. Why does she need two?" Eating cookies and cake and drinking punch were much more to their liking. They all loved sweets, and Ethan ventured a grin of approval when he bit into a powdery white butter cookie decorated like a snowman. Charity whispered, "Oma makes wonderful gingerbread, but I like this very much, maybe even better." A nurse stepped forward with a guitar and invited the audience to join her in singing Christmas songs, including Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Jingle Bells. The Amish listened, and Leah tried to imagine what it must be like to hear these songs for the first time. When the nurse began to lead the group into a singing carols, Leah glanced at Charity to see if she knew the words. Charity knew them well, and even Ethan and Rebecca sang along. Leah sang too, even though for her the carols were simply a tradition of the season. For the Amish, singing the words had a religious meaning. When Silent Night was played, Charity sang softly in German. As the beautiful music played, Leah felt a lump rise in her throat in spite of herself. The shimmering tree, the music, and the children's voices gave her goosebumps. When her gaze fell on the Christmas angel atop the tree, she deliberately glanced away. After the party, Leah and Rebecca returned to their room and said goodbye to Charity and Ethan. This time, Rebecca didn't cry at being left, but Leah felt pangs of regret. She caught Ethan's gaze and their eyes held. For an instant she thought he might give her a farewell hug, but he didn't. She felt disappointed, although she hadn't really expected him to do something like that. "Good night, Leah," he said softly. "But you will come back on Monday, my biopsy. I will be here when you wake up from your surgery. Do you promise?" He touched her cheek. "Yes, I promise." Long after they were gone and Rebecca slept, Leah lay awake, listening to the night sounds of the hospital. She wished she could sleep away the night and the whole next day. She wanted the biopsy to be over. She wanted Ethan to return. She sighed and threw back the bed covers. Perhaps a walk to the rec room would make her feel sleepy, or at least help pass the time. The rec room was deserted. The aroma of the Christmas tree filled the room, and although its lights had been turned off, it looked magnificent. She stood in front of it, fingering the fragrant pine needles and remembering other trees and other Christmases. The tree comforted her. She imagined the woods it had come from. The tree, too, had been snatched from all that was familiar and thrust into a world that was completely foreign. Behind her she heard the door open, and she turned to see a nurse silhouetted in the doorway. Leah squinted, then recognized her. "You're Gabriella," she said. "Rebecca talks about you. I've seen you in your room at night." Gabriella's auburn hair was short, with long, fringy bangs, and her eyes were dark brown. "She is a precious child, but I've been looking for you. I'll bet you're doing bed checks and found mine empty. Sorry about that, but I couldn't sleep." Leah expected a lecture about being out of bed in the middle of the night. I knew where to find you." "There's no place else to go," Leah said with a heavy sigh. "Where would you go if you could go anywhere?" Leah paused, stuck by the question. "Where would I go? I'm not sure. You're not unhappy here, are you?" Leah thought about Rebecca, Charity, and Ethan. "I'm not unhappy," she said. "Come," Gabriella said, taking her hand. "You should go back to bed." Obediently, Leah followed her out of the rec room and down the hall. "What's bothering you? Why can't you sleep?" Gabriella asked. I think I'm worried about Monday," Leah confessed. Until that moment, she had consciously been thinking about the biopsy at all. Gabriella rested her hands on Leah's shoulders, and looked deeply into her eyes. "Don't be afraid, Leah. Everything will work out for the best. But how do you know? Things happen for a purpose, even if we don't understand them." Leah sighed. "You sound like Molly. Molly likes you very much." "I like her too," Leah said. "She's nice, and really cares about people. You remind her of someone." Who? That's for Molly to tell you. Curious, Leah started to question Gabriella, but the nurse took her hand and led her back to her room. Together they checked on Rebecca, who was sound asleep. The child's skin was cool, and Leah realized that Rebecca was really getting well. Gabriella smoothed Leah's bed covers, and reluctantly Leah crawled back in between the sheets. I'm still not sleepy, Leah insisted. Do you want me to stay with you until you fall asleep? Leah started to say, I'm no baby, but stopped. My Grandma Hall is the only other person who's ever done that for me, but that was a long time ago. Gabriella took her hand. Then it's my turn now. Leah found the woman's touch comforting, and soon a feeling of serenity and contentment stole over her. Her eyelids grew heavy. Gabriella, why are the Amish so different? It is their belief and their custom to be different. The answer didn't satisfy Leah. I like them, but I don't understand why they live the way they do. Sometimes simplicity is a good thing. It keeps people focused on what's important. Leah yawned, and her thoughts turned again to her upcoming surgery. Things will be all right with the biopsy, won't they? God never puts more on a person than the person can bear. Leah fell asleep and dreamed of Amish buggies, of men who looked like Ethan, and of huge pieces of medical equipment towering over her like birds of prey, intent on devouring her. Will you read to me from my book? Rebecca's question pulled Leah from her deep sleep. Sunlight spilled through the window, and her breakfast tray sat on her bedside table, the plate still covered by a stainless steel dome. She slept so soundly she hadn't even heard it being delivered. She shook her head to clear it and struggled to a sitting position. What time is it? Rebecca stood beside Leah's bed, her eyes level with the mattress. The ivy line had been removed from the girl's hand, and a band-aid covered the place where the needle had been. Rebecca shrugged. Still groggy, Leah smiled. That late, huh? I better get moving. You were sleeping so long. Yeah, I guess I stayed up too late. Why didn't you wake me? Because Gabriella said not to. You talked to Gabriella? Rebecca nodded and offered a bright smile. She told me goodbye. She said I'd be going home tomorrow. Leah felt jolted. Gabriella wouldn't have told Rebecca that unless it was true. Going home, and away from the world Leah was a part of.